Hello Internet, my name is Joe, and in this video I'm going to describe the system and the tools that I've made for reloading and hand loading. I've been a firearms enthusiast for multiple decades, but I've been into reloading for only about 3 years or so now. So far I haven't been real interested in high volume. I just enjoy the manual process. I also really love making the tools to make my process better. I've used this setup for batches of over 300 rounds. I can't tell you how long it took or even how long a single charge takes. I've made it a point not to run any time studies here. I just enjoy doing this manually, and it takes as long as it takes. A few people have encouraged me to post a video, so here I am. I'd like to hear any positive feedback and constructive criticism, but more importantly, I hope to inspire folks who are interested in DIY projects and like to make their own tools. I definitely answer any questions for people who are interested. Explain a little bit about everything here, and then I'll load a couple rounds for demonstration. The only thing that I'd like to consider a little bit proprietary is the powder trickler, specifically just the hopper and the dispenser portion here. When I started experimenting with what I think are very fine powders, I found that my purchase trickler jammed, it leaked, it ground the powder to a point that made things really unenjoyable. I took my least offensive store-bought powder trickler, I cut off the front half of the dispenser tube and threw everything else away along with the other tricklers that I had. They probably should have been in the garbage on day one. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. It does everything right with the finest powders. Doesn't leak, doesn't grind, doesn't jam. It won't wear out. And it's just as easy to clean as any traditional trickler. It's a little more tricky to take apart, but we can live with that, especially because you don't really have to take it apart to clean it. I didn't originally intend for a power drive, but after the prototype started coming together, it was just obvious that making it powered would take a little bit of effort and have huge benefit. This is an automotive actuator. Most cars on the road nowadays have 2 of these. You can get them from Chinese websites pretty cheap or from junkyards. They'll be just as good. Moving on to the camera here, as you can see, I really prefer the analog scale. The reasons why are probably worth a whole nother video, so I won't go into that. But one of the main problems with this type of scale is the parallax error. I previously had made like an optical setup with magnifying glasses, but it really wasn't ergonomic and it took up a lot of space on my bench there. Cameras were mentioned in forums, and I had purchased this as part of my day job about 1.5 years ago. It was $50 on Amazon. The stand just makes it adjustable and easy to move around. It's modular. It's not attached to the scale. You can move it to any place. It's convenient. The scale is from OHOS. The only modification I made is to strategically put that little white mark there on the retention tab, I guess that's called. That was originally part of my optical setup that I mentioned before, but it still shows up really well in the video there. So I call this my 5-function motor controller. It obviously is the controller for the powder trickler there. There is one PWM DC motor controller inside, configured to switch between 3 different channels, which I have set for high, medium, and low. There's also a motor brake function that does not allow the motor to coast down after power is cut. It stops immediately once you take your finger off the button. So today I'm loading up 23.5 grains of H110 into some once fired 44 magazine. So we'll give it a try here and see how it goes. I use my Lee scooper to get as close as possible. And I will use my very high-tech airflow elimination device. And what I've found is that you can dampen the motion of the oscillation of the beam by only applying or dispensing the powder on the downward stroke as viewed here, which is actually the upward stroke on the cup. And I'll use the high, medium, low channels as we get closer to get it tuned in. And I think that one, just like that. I also like to work on a white sheet of paper so that I can see how much powder I'm spilling. And there's the first one. I'll do one more. And just the same, we'll go high, medium, low. close. And I'll call it good right there. All right. And that's my process. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.